Thank you so much for tuning in and welcome to your very own Try It Before You Buy channel with your host Karamullah Kadwani. Today is all about Reflection Man versus Reflection 45 from the house of Amouage. We were discussing Jubilation XXV versus Jubilation 40 just yesterday. So if you still haven't watched that video, I'd urge you to go watch it after this one. The exceptional extract of Reflection is a 45% oil concentrate and retails for an amazing 2050 dirhams. Reflection Man, on the other hand, retails for 1450. We spoke about many folks speculating and commenting about reformulations yesterday, killing the originals at it as these lack performance, both projection and longevity. I'd beg to differ. It may be slightly weaker if memory serves me right, but the least bit to say about Amouage hasn't compromised on the quality of the ingredients, and the smell is pretty much intact. So yes, performance maybe, but the smell profile and the scent itself I have no complaints with. So we talked about the different scents and their concentrations. Needless to say, this is a 45% oil concentrate where the formula has been maturated for 10 weeks and macerated for 6 weeks. Alright, before we get into the details of Reflection Man and Reflection 45, I really quickly want to do away with a few things. I had very briefly touched on my love of the niche artisan space, which I did discover after watching a few reviews from, the perfume guy Sebastian. Shout out to him. Ramsey, the encyclopedia, if I may, of perfumery, mashallah, and a few others, to name a few. As a result, I went ahead and I ordered a few samples, which are, I think, the 2020 batch, as I've labeled them. Not sure if you're able to see it. I'll try to focus on this. And as a result, after trying a few fragrances, I had ordered Mysterious Oud, Oud Maximus, and Lao Oud full bottles from the website. Unfortunately, my bottle for this is Lao Oud. I think it's the coffee oud fragrance, and I love this one. As a matter of fact, I was wearing it as my scent of the day, layered with perfume d'Ampere Reward. I don't know if you can see this. I really hope I'm making some kind of sense. And Oud Maximus, another one of my full bottle purchases from the house of Botnikov. By the way, Lao Oud is also from the house of Botnikov. Not to mention, I love the bottles though. I mean, it does remind me of the Roger bottles, but then the presentation is on point, right? And so I've labeled these as old and new. I have Lure Exquis. I do have Oud Monarch, which I wanted to order a full bottle of. I so wanted to order a full bottle of. I have Musk Khabib. If you can see that, that's from a 2020 batch. And they were good back then. So this is the actually Botnikov label that's now kind of coming off, and that's why I had to. And it's easier for me to find my bottles when I label them that way. This is Musk Khabib from the house of Botnikov. Fragrance that I did like, but not really loved. Le Exquis. I have the new Oud Monarch, which I just recently ordered. I'll tell you why I'm taking you through this. Doesn't belong here in the Amouage, I think, review. But then that's Oud Monarch 2020, right? And just so that I can do this on camera, I haven't kind of compared the juice or off camera, but I got pretty much excited and I wanted to do full orders, like full bottles. I wanted to order a few fragrances from them, especially the new Oud fragrances they've launched, which I will talk about inshallah. And to tell you the least, alright, maybe the juice color is okay, But to tell you the least, and the reason why I ordered these 9 mils instead of the full bottles was that I was hearing a lot about kind of Bortnikov going down on the quality and the performances, etc. And so I didn't want to exactly take a chance on a $350 bottle, and I did not just wanted to order one. I wanted to order multiple bottles from the brand, but I received the 9 mil samples, and honestly speaking, the difference between the 2020 batch and the current batch is night and day. I mean, I was really disappointed. Maybe we do need to let a little air sit in before kind of passing a judgment. But then that's just straight off the bat of the testers that I did. I have Mysterious Oud here, which I kind of ordered the 9 mil. I wanted the full bottle, but then I wanted to try out the 9 mils before I kind of placed the order for the full bottles. This is Sir Winston, which I had early ordered. I have the Lao Oud 2020, based of which I bought a full bottle. I have the Oud Maximus 2020, based on which I purchased a full bottle. I have Tabak Dore, but then I do have a lot of tobacco fragrances that kind of satisfy the itch that I have for tobacco fragrances, and so I did not get a full bottle of Tabak Dore, though I was contemplating. Oud Monarch, I think I just sprayed. Seems to be okay. I think I needed maybe a little air to get into. I have Oud Kinam from the new Oud collection. I have Oud Malinao, I don't know how you pronounce that. And then I do have Oud Hind, or Oud Hindi, I think it's supposed to be. Oud Hindi turned out to be my favorite from the three. Oud Kinam and Oud Malinao doesn't do much for me. I don't know. I actually was watching one of the reviews of Ramsey, in which he spoke about, or didn't speak about, but kind of mentioned the house of Bortnikov. I think Maxim, being his son, coming up with his own brand and doing well, wish him all the best. But Bortnikov itself, I have reservations with. I mean, I'm going to think about placing a full bottle. Like, I mean, they used to be, I have no complaints with the older fragrances that I have from Bortnikov. So if by any means Dmitry Bortnikov is watching this, I would like to personally, humbly request you to get back on your feet, get back to your game, at which you're a pro. I think Arij Ladore, Russian Adam, I have acquired a few fragrances from Sultan Pasha. They're on their A game. Ansar Oud is out of my league. I cannot do 30 mil for like $4,500 or $6,000, right? But so that was just a little rant I wanted to get out of the way. Bortnikov, my personal suggestion, my personal humble suggestion again, is the first time I ordered and I got the bottles like about 2-3 years ago, I had no issues spraying off straight from the atomizers. I did not let them sit for a big time, or but maybe sitting does do the perfumery good. I'm not sure if, I mean, yes, air into the bottle and all, I do understand. But straight off the bat, I mean, from the first time I sprayed the fragrances, they weren't exactly, I mean, I have fragrances that I've reordered, so I wanted full bottles of, and the 9 mils before and the 9 mils now are day and night difference. Another quick perfume that I kind of was so happy to get was Ruad by Perfume Dampierre. It retails for about 400 USD for the small, I think 30 mil or 50 mil or whatever it is. So it's like about $450 plus duties and shipping and blah blah blah. Ideally, the fragrance should be able to blow your head off, or knock your socks off, or whatever the saying is, right? Well, it does. I love the smell profile. I love the scent, but the longevity is shit. It's crap. I mean, I sprayed it like 2-3 hours ago and I can't smell anything. However, I would like to say, or I would like to suggest, if you do want to go for the Botnikovs though, do try the 9mm atomizers before you order full size bottle or smaller samples if they have it on their site, which they usually do, and make a wise decision, because you have so many more houses that are cropping up that are kind of cranking up or kind of popping up rather, sorry, popping up into the artisanal niche space. That would be my rant for the time being. I'm happy with my old Botnikov bottles. I'm not sure if I'm going to hunt down older batch bottles and pay a premium for those, or if I'm just going to want to continue my journey with whatever's currently available with the niche artisan houses. So having said that, let's get back to Reflection Man and Reflection 45. Reflection Man, in my opinion, and in the opinion of many people that I heard from, may remind you of Jean-Paul Gaultier's Fleur de Mal because of the neroli in it. But as per my nose, it doesn't quite go all the way JPG designer like, if that makes any sense. Kind of more like hints at it. Reflection 45 on the contrary hints at Reflection Man, but then it's different. One of my first purchases from the house of Amouage, I think back in 2008, Reflection Man by Amouage is a woody floral musk fragrance for men. Was launched in 2006. The nose behind this fragrance is Lucas Suizak. I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing your name. Top notes are rosemary, pink pepper, and petitgrain. Middle notes are jasmine, neroli, orris root, and ylang. Base notes are sandalwood, vetiver, cedar, and patchouli. Actually, I'm enjoying this. I might order a full bottle of Oud Monarch, who knows. Reflection 45 Men by Amouage is an oriental spicy fragrance for men. Reflection 45 Man was launched in 2021. The nose behind this fragrance is Lucas Suizak. Top notes are lavender, benzoin, juniper berries, pink pepper, clary sage, and cardamom. Middle notes are iris, jasmine, neroli, tonka bean, vanilla, and angelica. Base notes are olibanum, sandalwood, myrrh, opoponax, cedar, vetiver, and patchouli. So, as we are discussing the note of neroli in the original, may remind you of Fleur de Mal, but what steers this into a different direction is that it has jasmine and orris or iris, making up for that powdery experience that you have with fragrances like Dior Homme, for example. To me personally, the extrait does not remind me as much of Jean-Paul Gaultier's Fleur de Mal. Say what you may, it's every nose for themselves. There is an airy powderiness with the original Reflection for Man. It's like the aftermath of the remains of the powder being thrown into the air. It has light and airy-like ethereal qualities, whereas the extrait sits closer, more dense, concentrated, like due to the exceptional oil concentrate, much like the comparison we did yesterday for Jubilation. That would be the major noticeable difference, in my opinion. The extrait is definitely more intense, with rough around like edges, slightly, ever so slightly animalic nuances, and the extrait, needless to say, performs like a beast. Reflection 45 has a lot of frankincense. However, it's more of the resinous qualities rather than smoky. Jasmine is in both. However, the original is kind of more jasmine and airy. Frankincense, not so much when compared to the extrait. The extrait does hint at the original, but then becomes more resinous and balsamic of the two with the resins. Basically feels like a more ambery version of the two, if you will. So, Neroli comes in, but the extrait will not remind you of JPG. It's not as intense. Also, jasmine is not as pronounced in the extrait as with the original. The extrait is mostly about the frankincense, myrrh, and benzoin, bringing in the resinous, balsamic, ambery nuances. It may come off as rough around the edges, as mentioned before, because of the oil concentrate and can become overwhelming to some. For me, it's a very enjoyable experience, maybe off putting to those who do not enjoy intense experiences. Having said that, both versions are very relevant and worth having in your collection. The extrait though comes off rich, dense, uber luxe, and very long lasting. Sillage with the original is already an 8 out of 10. The extrait sits heavier. Longevity with the original is about 8 to 10 hours, which is phenomenal. It's good enough. With the extraits, forget it. I mean, just forget it. It'll last forever. Projection with the original is much better again, although the extrait really projects beastly for the first 2 or 3 hours, but then it kind of sits closer to your scent bubble and kind of lasts forever, as we mentioned earlier. I usually layer the original after spraying the extrait, and it's a much better experience in terms of getting best of both the worlds. Original is fresher, more powdery, and a floral like experience. The extrait, if you will, is reverse engineered, where it's more resinous and balsamic but see-through powderiness, if that makes any. Both are completely different fragrances and hold their own. I love Reflection Man for what it is and when it came out. And though the extrait hints at it, it's a completely different beast altogether. So, let me tell you about Interlude Man and Interlude 53. They're very much the same, just the extrait is really more intense. With all the fragrances, I referred to Interlude because I would want to do a follow-up review on Interlude 53, and so I mentioned this as a point where Reflection with Reflection Man and Reflection 45 are two completely different perfumes. Interlude is very much the same perfume, but just Interlude 53 brings more intensity to the table. With all the fragrances, I must admit that the original EDP concentrations would fit summers better due to the airy, diffusive, like ethereal qualities, and extracts better suited dressed up, cooler weather, indoorsy, formal occasions, or just winter beasts. If you were to twist my hand to tell you a little extra about the original Reflection Man, here's what I'd have to say about it. Might give you an impression of a clean, floral scent. The original Reflection Man, it did have a cult following. Rosemary may come off smelling like a pine tree, green like nuances in the original. Neroli bringing in the clean cologne like feel, opens bright and has a zing with that bitter orange coming from the Frag-rant and pink pepper. The opening hence comes off very clean and like an uplifting scent, quite different though, as it may come off very elderly, mature like, especially to the fuckboys. Others may cliche it to be floral, but do not despair, it's negligible. The floral aspects are negligible and does not go overboard. Very balanced, but kind of gives it an oriental feel. Iris brings about a slight powdery clean vibe. Oris bringing in about a soapy vibe with them florals. Frag-rant giving it that bitter orange like facets, and pink pepper adding to the zing. Let me tell you a little bit more about pink pepper. Pink pepper is known for its excellent blending capabilities. It harmonizes effortlessly with floral, fruity and woody notes, offering perfumers a wide range of possibilities. Whether featured prominently as a top note or seamlessly woven into the heart of a fragrance, pink pepper helps contribute to the overall complexity and depth of the scent. Overall, Reflection Man has these clean vibes, everything just right, nothing stands out. If this really wasn't enough, it has this rather creamy like quality thanks to the sandalwood. Vetiver rounds off this fragrance, making it a masculine leaning scent. It's different, clean, upscaled, uplifting scent that does its own thing. Formal, dressed up, more appropriate. Don't wear this for compliments though, rather to stand out and be your own thing. These were just my thoughts and interpretation. Do let me know your thoughts. Also, let me know if you already have this gem of a composition in your arsenal, or if you're interested in at least giving it a try after watching this review. Do share your experiences and don't forget to comment. Feel free to ask me any questions and I'll try to answer them to the best of my capabilities. Until the next time, your host Karamullah Kadwani signing out.